How's it going, you guys? So in this video, I just want to discuss a point that was brought up by a commenter on one of my previous videos. This person said that mental health is subjective and the nutrients required for your brain to create neurotransmitters and for your brain to create healthy cells is somehow subjective. For some reason, this person does not believe that every human requires certain nutrients to survive, which is really weird. Apparently, the guy thinks that some people can survive on white rice and not experience any significant downfalls in their health. Clearly, the person just doesn't seem to understand the point I was trying to make in that video, and what he was saying really made no sense. Okay, so at a baseline, the food that you eat and the way that you eat, okay, the composition of macronutrients, meaning the ratio of carbohydrates to fat to protein, the types of fats, the types of protein, and the types of carbohydrates you eat, and the amount of each macro and micronutrient that you consume plays a significant role on your physical and your mental health. And simply changing the ratio of these macronutrients to an extreme degree can definitely have a significant impact on your mental and physical well-being, even in as little as hours to days, to 3 days, okay? But before I even get into the macronutrient ratios, I'm going to touch on micronutrients. So the person basically said that nutrition and changing the way that you eat and the nutrients that you consume will not have a significant impact on mental or physical health. He doesn't believe that you can transform your health using nutrition. Now, here's the silly thing about that, okay? So we know, based on clinical studies and, doctors all around the world, that clinical iron deficiency anemia and other forms of anemia, but especially iron deficiency anemia and vitamin B12 deficiency anemia, can cause depression. It can cause psychosis, and it can cause many other ill symptoms. It can cause death. It can cause breathing issues. But I've known many females, some friends, some family, and some clients that I've worked with in the past who had iron deficiency anemia, and they were significantly depressed. Well, guess what, guys? As soon as they started to supplement with iron, eat more red meat, and they resolved their iron deficiency, the depression lifted. They no longer needed antidepressants. The same thing goes for something like vitamin D. Vitamin D deficiency. You guys can look it up. Seasonal affective disorder. In the winter months when sunlight is down, people are not able to get vitamin D. We know vitamin D plays a significant role in everything from your hormones to your bone health to your mood. And we know it has a direct role in your dopamine and serotonin balance. And so they claim that vitamin D deficiency causes serotonin deficiency. But nonetheless, people who have clinically low vitamin D levels have greater levels of depression. It directly increases depression. And you can look this up, and you will find all the mainstream health organizations. If they admit it, then it's definitely true. They all say the same thing. Vitamin D levels directly influence your mood. And you can look up people's experiences that have reversed vitamin D deficiencies. It's common knowledge even in the mainstream medical field. So to deny the significant role that nutrients play on mental health is ridiculously ignorant, okay? If you cure a vitamin deficiency, such as vitamin D or iron or B12, it will directly transform your mental health alone. And that's at the very basic level. Okay, so already that person's comment is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know how someone can deny that. Beyond that, many people could be chronically under-eating protein, which can directly impact your mental health, and the types of protein as well. Some people cannot digest grains and beans and things of that nature. They have extreme intestinal bloating, which is a food intolerance. And people with intestinal bloating and intestinal disorders, no doubt they're going to feel lethargic, they're going to feel sluggish, and it's going to make a significant impact on their mental health. So obviously taking care of your intestinal flora and your intestinal health and reducing the foods that you're intolerant to or eliminating them altogether will definitely change it will transform your health, absolutely. And so, these are just basic things. I mean, there's a multitude of people who experience chronic pain from things like gluten. For example, my girlfriend completely reversed her fibromyalgia by removing gluten and also peanuts. And obviously fibromyalgia, most people believe it's incurable, but not many people try to eliminate key food groups that are constantly believed to cause, these symptoms. And many people report a reduction in brain fog and a reduction in depression and a reduction in stress and anxiety when they remove wheat and gluten. And there's a lot of science to back this up. A lot of mainstream health organizations say there's no science to back it up and it's unscientific. But, the fact is, just because you haven't seen scientific evidence doesn't mean the scientific evidence does not exist. And a great starting place, but not the be-all end-all, would be a book called Grain Brain. Okay, I absolutely highly recommend that. It's written by a triple board certified physician who actually, I believe, is a professor of neurology, David Perlmutter. Anyway, beyond that, there's different types of diets that utilize different macronutrient ratios that will directly impact your mental health, okay? So I can tell you right away, and I'm not just recommending one diet, but for one example, a ketogenic diet has been shown in multiple studies to upregulate GABA and to lessen the impact of glutamate. So it increases the turnover of glutamate into GABA, and this directly increases your relaxation. GABA is the relaxation neurotransmitter. It is your body's master inhibitory neurotransmitter, and glutamate is your body's master excitatory neurotransmitter. When you have too much glutamate, that causes things like psychosis, everything from schizophrenia to psychosis to seizures and epilepsy. In fact, that's why the ketogenic diet has been clinically used as a treatment for epilepsy. It's because it upregulates GABA, and GABA counteracts the effects, the direct mechanism that causes epilepsy to begin with. And so for me, being diagnosed with bipolar disorder as a child, being in and out of mental hospitals from the time I was 8 years old till I was 13, which I don't have, I'm not the same person that I was back then, that's for sure. Most people wouldn't believe that I was in and out of mental hospitals. But anyway, the constant agitation, frustration, and the mood swings, well, I didn't really have extreme mood swings because of all the tonic herbs and the nutritional things that I've done. But I feel like I've completely diminished all symptoms of bipolar. My girlfriend says the same thing, simply by partaking in a ketogenic diet. And so all that I'm saying is a ketogenic diet, by upregulating GABA, and also by completely removing insulin spikes and blood sugar spikes, will completely change somebody's, entire life. And you can see hundreds and hundreds of people who have said the same thing. Now, anyone who changes from a standard American diet to a healthy, just a general healthy diet is going to notice extreme increases in their well-being. But I'm not talking about just eating a healthier diet. I'm talking about completely transforming your entire life through scientific, individualized, specific nutrition. Okay? Ketogenic diets completely change and transform your entire body's metabolism. Your body's cells literally change from using glucose to using ketones. And then there's people who have switched from a standard American diet to a scientifically devised, strategically correct, proper vegan diet, right? And many people say that they feel so much better on a vegan diet, and there's many people who believe that they've cured their depression and their mental health problems on a vegan diet. And I don't advocate a vegan diet whatsoever because there's many problems that go along with that. But anyways, nutrition is extremely powerful. It will transform your life. And there's some people that just need a greater help than nutrition. Leave your questions and comments down below, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.